Paso with Hinojos, Estela Casas, Rick Glancey with the weather, and Chip Taberski with sports.
Very pleasant good evening. Thank you for being with us. It was an emotional and moving goodbye for Sharon Maria Guter.
She was the Isleta High School counselor who was killed in a traffic accident Sunday. Not only were Isleta teachers and students there for today's tribute, her parents were also there to hear her called a true friend.
I remember when I thanked her on one occasion, I gave her a hug and told her how much that I had appreciated how much she had done for me. And she replied, "No, don't thank me, you deserve it." We all love you, Mr. Guter, and thank you.
A Sharon Maria Guter Scholarship Fund has been set up at the school. Anyone interested in donating to the fund can send contributions to Isleta High School, 8600 Alameda. Well, meter reading has taken a new meaning for the El Paso Electric Company. Company employees who are out in the field are also looking out for warning signs that may read trouble for you. Channel 4's Patti Aquayo has this story.
Shirley Acosta likes to think her job is more than reading electric meters. Just last Friday, she alerted the fire department when flames broke out at this northeast El Paso home.
I smelled something funny. It was like burning rubber or something. So I just ran over there to use the phone, neighbor's phone, and I called them, and the neighbors called them also, fire department.
She's one of 24 citywide meter readers who have been trained under the Gatekeeper program. Electric company field personnel are taught what warning signs to look for.
I had a referral of a woman that was going to have her service disconnected for non-payment, and all it was is that she was forgetting to deposit her checks in her checking account. She was just an elderly lady that needed some assistance in paying her bill. You know, so the severity doesn't have to be great.
Gunning's office gets between 3 to 6 referral calls a week. Even though the program has been in effect since March, a field supervisor says the concept has been in practice much longer than that.
It's not been uncommon for our meter readers in the past years to report everything from houses on fire to burglary to elderly customers who don't quite respond the way they used to abandoned animals, a little bit of everything.
The program is one of many across the country adopted by utility companies. Patti Aquayo, News 4 El Paso tonight.
And also tonight, dense fog is being considered as a contributing factor in a fatal plane crash in Houston. Today, a 31-year-old pilot was killed. His twin-engine Aerostar crashed on approach to Houston Intercontinental Airport. The Conroe, Texas pilot had filed a flight plan from Baton Rouge to his hometown. He was alone in the airplane. Tonight, the FAA says visibility was less than 1/16 of a mile when the plane went down.
An El Paso pilot is a free man tonight. Juarez police let 41-year-old Hector Ricardo Rodri fly the coop. He had been behind bars since last Saturday for allegedly landing his small plane at the Juarez airport without clearance from the tower. Police believed he had stolen the plane from El Paso. Rodri was let go because Mexican federal agents decided not to press charges, and a federal judge felt there wasn't a case against him. Meanwhile, the plane will be impounded until Rodri gets clearance from the American consulate to fly it back into the U.S.
Well, I don't have to worry about my toupee flying off. The winds have died down, but they could be back tomorrow. We'll tell you more in a moment.
And coming up, El Paso police have caught a murder suspect.
And a man on death row in Huntsville faces lethal injection tomorrow. Well, it looks like there will not be any stay for a death row inmate facing lethal injection just after midnight. 37-year-old Donald Gene Franklin was convicted for the 1975 death of a nurse in San Antonio. He has had 3 trials and faced 5 execution dates. Franklin was on parole for a rape conviction when he was arrested for the abduction and killing of a nurse. And tonight, El Paso police have a man in custody wanted for murder in California. They got a tip that 37-year-old Crispin de la Cruz Gonzalez was staying at his brother's apartment in the 6900 block of Alto Rey. They staked it out and waited for Gonzalez to leave. He was followed to Alto Rey and Rustler, where his car was stopped and he was arrested. His brother has been charged with harboring a fugitive. The murder occurred in April at a restaurant in Verlinda, California.
The El Paso Police Department is doing what it can to keep strangers out of your house. But as Louie Saenz tells us, burglary prevention begins with us.
Detective Elias Camacho's job is to make sure that your house is protected from burglars. On any given day, you can find him in a home like this one, checking it out. Looking for possible faults which can be inviting to a burglar, he usually inspects the doors, And if there are any recommendations as to what can be done to make things more secure, he'll tell you. In this home, he found the gravel in the backyard as a plus, because if anyone is prowling, you can hear him walking around. But open doors or windows are not the most inviting things to a burglar.
One of the most common problems that we have is that people always believe that these things happen to somebody else. It will never happen to oneself. And that's the most common problem that we have.
Detective Camacho says the most important thing to a burglar is time. And if it's going to take him a long time to break into your house, he'll stay away. He encourages homeowners to take advantage of the Crime Prevention Unit, who will provide a free evaluation of your home. But the choice is yours. Have a policeman come to your home before a break-in or after. Louie, Saenz, News 4 El Paso, tonight.
A nationwide slowdown in home sales is making it a buyer's market.
And a smokeless cigarette has been snuffed out. Consuela Mack has tonight's Wall Street Journal report.
In business today, another sign of moderation in the economy. New home sales fell through the basement in September, down 7.8%. That's the biggest decline in almost a year and a half. Meanwhile, new home prices headed towards the roof, rising to an average of $146,000. September's drop was worse than expected, with the South reporting the biggest slump. But that slowdown in home sales could help home buyers. Banks have to lower mortgage rates to attract more business. So, according to a survey of lenders, fixed mortgage rates fell below 10% for the first time since early spring, with some banks even offering 9.75%. But the average is still above that at 10.22%. On Wall Street, as usual, trading was light and lackluster. The Dow ended the day up almost 6 points. And the first smokeless cigarette, it's called Premier, is coming under more fire. Today, the American Medical Association petitioned state health authorities to stop sales in Missouri and Arizona. RGR Reynolds just introduced the cigarette in those markets last month. Now, Reynolds says the cigarette simulates smoking by heating a capsule containing tobacco-flavored pellets. That led some smokers to believe it's a healthier cigarette. But the AMA claims that the cigarette is a delivery system for nicotine, an addictive substance. And as such, they say it should be tested and regulated by the government. That's today's Wall Street Journal report. I'm Consuela Mack.
You keep talking about your toupee. You won't have to hang on to it tomorrow, huh?
No, I sure won't.
I don't think he's talking about his toupees.
Now, don't get started, because I got you last Friday, and I can pull that thing back out.
I got plenty of comments about that, too. Bald-headed wig he had on, and he's saying it's me.
Well,
anyway,
some days are...
I'll hang on to my top of my head that I got left. That's real.
That's real.
And you tell us about the wind that's coming out.
Okay,
right?
well, I want to take a look at a picture here, because, you know, I moonlight in the mornings at a radio station, and look at this goofy-looking billboard they put up. Now, I looked okay.
Now, what's that, the Three Stooges, or what?
Looks like the Three Stooges, but I look okay. Chip looks like he just got out of a fight with Mike Tyson, and Raymond there looks like he doesn't want to fight Mike Tyson, so it just gives you an idea of the pictures. But I look all right. I'm a handsome devil, I have to admit it. All right, today's high in El Paso, 79, after morning low, 52. Precipitation 10.38, pollution index moderate. Blind but handsome. All right, clouds across the four corners, not the four corners area, the Pacific Northwest. And these clouds, in some cases, showers have been associated with them. Same holds true in the New England areas. It's been cool and some light showers being reported over the last couple of hours. We'll go to Radar Plus for you right now. We'll find a couple of cells kind of in the middle of the country, some of them pushing into the moderate zone out there in Colorado. But back in the Pacific Northwest, from the coastlines of California, Oregon, and Washington, all the way into areas now of the plateau into Idaho as well, we'll find they'll go light to moderate this evening. Then we go back in the New England area to find some more forms of precipitation this evening, and a few cells trying to build up in the nasty zone just south of Miami. Here's what's happening for us right now. We had that weak system come through, brought in some clouds this morning, kicked up the winds earlier this afternoon. We'll probably find a little bit of a breeze out there tomorrow in the El Paso area, but not that bad after all. Then we do have a cold front coming at us. How far will it dip? It's not looking like it's going to come into El Paso because the jet stream is staying well north of El Paso. But nonetheless, as it makes its little southeasterly track over the next couple of days, we'll see some high clouds once again in the morning hours and a little bit of a breeze there, and perhaps temperature dropping 1 or 2 degrees. We're looking for that first wave about Friday, and then we'll look for another one come Sunday, Monday. Here's what it looks like tomorrow. Have a high that comes across into southern California and the Baja. Here's the cold front. Which one of these will move in first? We're thinking that it's going to be this cold front. Again, we'll just be on the fringe of it. Maybe bring in a few high clouds like we're talking about Friday, drop the temperature 2 degrees, and then as it pushes through, the winds will kick up. We'll find showers, though, going across from areas now of North Dakota into some of the higher elevations of northern Nevada. It was 66 this afternoon in Salt Lake City, 67 today in Los Angeles, 74 there in Little Rock, 43 for Detroit, and 50 degrees in Chicago, home of Mike Ditka. All right, now in Texas, Amarillo 79, Marfa 76, San Antonio's high was 76, with Austin at 75 and Brownsville at 83 degrees. New Mexico, Farmington 66, Las Cruces 78, Roswell and Carlsbad both at 82 degrees. Now take a closer look and just admit, Chip looks goofy, doesn't he? Look at him. Chip. Shame on Raymond. Raymond, I'd be ashamed of that picture. Clear in 69, winds out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. Overnight, clear. Notice how I'm covered there, okay? Clear 60 to 65. Thank you, Estela. Breakfast forecast, high clouds, 49 to 54, sunrise 6:23, and late in the afternoon, high clouds and breezy, 76 to 81, and sunset at 5:15. I think I'm a handsome devil, I really do. And Chip and Raymond, I feel sorry for you. 81 Thursday and Friday, Saturday 76, Sunday sunshine is 79, Monday 76 degrees again. And we've got November 4th at 7 o'clock in the evening, the Woodmen of the World Lodge 3887. They'll be meeting there at the Trans Mountain Community College. Again, that's 7 o'clock November 4th, and we hope to see you out there.
Goofy?
Don't you think so?
No, I'm
not
not
going to. Look at him. Just look at him.
Okay, let's look at you.
All right, thanks, Estela. Well, despite what Mr. Ego says over there, I think you're the best-looking guy. Raymond better go see a doctor.
Looks like he went 15 rounds with Mike Tyson with those punchy eyes there.
That's what Rick said at the top of the news. How's Mr. Ditka today?
Some good news to report on Mike Ditka tonight, and a lot of news out of the major leagues. So we'll have those stories and a lot more, so stay with us. The American League's Rookie of the Year was named today, and he's shortstop Walter Weiss of the Oakland Athletics. And this is the third consecutive year that a player from the A's has won the award. Jose Canseco won it in '86, Mark McGwire won it last year, and although Weiss isn't a big hitter like those two, this guy can field. He made some great plays at short throughout the season, the playoffs, and the World Series, and so his .215 batting average looks big when you look at his glove. Pitcher Brian Harvey of the California Angels finished a distant second in the voting, while shortstop Jody Reed of the Boston Red Sox was third. Well, get a load of this one. There's a rumor that the New York Mets are about to make a deal with the Chicago Cubs. The Mets would send shortstop Kevin Elster to the Cubbies, along with relief pitcher Roger McDowell, in exchange for shortstop Sean Dunston. Now, it appears the Cubbies would be getting the best end of this deal. Elster and Dunston are both good young shortstops, while McDowell is considered to be one of the better relief pitchers in the big leagues. In bi-district volleyball, well, the playoffs started tonight as Austin played Socorro at Bowie High, and the Lady Panthers dominated this match from start to finish. They won the first game in a whitewash by a score of 15-0, and then completed the sweep in 2 straight as they took game 2 15-4. And so Austin takes the match and moves on in the playoffs, while tomorrow night at Del Valle High, Hanks, who was 27-1, will play Burgess. Coach Mike Ditka is doing okay tonight as Mike's resting comfortably, or as comfortable as you can be after having a mild heart attack, but it appears he's not in any serious trouble.
He's very tired, so he needs a lot of rest, but he's in real good spirits. You know, we won't know a lot until in the morning of all the results of the heart attack. But he's in real good spirits.
Mike had just finished his morning workout and was getting ready to attend a rally for George Bush when he started getting pains in his chest. Evidently, Mike had the same problem on Monday, but didn't think anything about it. But the pain was so bad this morning that he couldn't get dressed, and that's when 2 of his assistants talked him into going to the hospital.
Well, he just looked peaked. It looked like he was tired. Obviously, he was in some pain, but he didn't want to really let on.
He looked like he was in a little bit of pain. You know, he still talked as we went over to the hospital, but he definitely was not the same guy he normally is.
Doctors say Mike had a clogged artery and will be in the hospital for at least a week. Bears president Mike McCaskey said today he'll decide later this week who will coach the Bears while Mike is gone. Wyoming's favored by 14.5 points in Saturday's game against UTEP, and a lot of people, at least around here, feel that's a bit too much, considering the Miners' only loss was to BYU, and that was a game they should have won. However, Wyoming's been running up a lot of big numbers, and so we talked with Bob Stoll about why the Cowboys are so good, even though they lost quite a few key players from last year's team that won the WAC.
Welniak, their quarterback, has really been a pleasant surprise for him. He not only throws well, but he runs. He's run for almost 500 yards, and he's thrown for over 2,000, and I think he's third in the nation in total offense. Excellent player, excellent leader. Dabby Dawson, their tailback, is a junior college transfer, and he's pulled through for them and played extremely well, taking up the slack from last year. And their whole offensive and defensive line are the strength of their team. They came back from last year, all returners. They're very aggressive on defense, especially their front seven, playing extremely well.
Wyoming may be undefeated and ranked 10th, but they've been averaging less than 24,000 a game. However, the word out of Laramie is that tickets are selling well, and they're expecting a sellout or close to it, with War Memorial Stadium holding around 33,000. The Miami Dolphins have been unhappy with place kicker Tony Franklin, so they gave Raphael Septien a tryout today. Septien, the former place kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, reportedly looked good, but Miami has decided to keep Franklin, at least for now, and that's from Dolphin coach Don Shula. Former UTEP basketball player Dave Feidel was fined $3,000 today for his fight on Friday night against Rick Mahorn. Feidel's number 21 in white, and watch the guy in the dark sports coat right there, Wes Unseld, the coach of the Bullets. He just flings Bill Lambier to the floor. Mahorn was fined $5,000 for the fight, while Larry Bird was fined $3,500 for his fight with Harvey Grant of the Bullets. On Sunday night, 20 players, including Feidel, Mahorn, Bird, and Grant from the Celtics, the Bullets, and the Pistons, were fined a total of $24,500. That was a fight.
Well, you're not kidding. Thanks a lot, Chip.
Otherwise, it could have been in worse trouble.
Let's see if I can get through this one. Thank you. It fights cavities, but tastes like candy. Carol Barish reports on something new in the way of dental hygiene next.
Check out any drugstore and you'll find toothbrushes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. But Carol Barish has found a throwaway brush, and it already has toothpaste.
As you look through the toothbrush rack, you can find any number of brushes to suit your dental needs. But here's one you may not have seen before. It's called Toothette. It's a sucker stick with a small piece of foam that has toothpaste in it. No water or mouth rinse is needed, and it's disposable. The story behind the product is also interesting.
According to what I've been told, a dentist who had a parent in a nursing home realized that they were not getting the dental care that they needed. So due to the fact that toothbrushes have stiff or hard bristles that might cut their tender gums, he designed this Toothette.
But is the Toothette just another gimmick, or does it serve a useful purpose?
A real benefit in using this type of aid would be for individuals who had no teeth at all, where they could still had debris that had collected on the gums and oral tissues. If they were physically compromised, they could get in and remove the debris or have an attendant do it. That would be a tremendous benefit of this type of an aid.
But generally?
Generally, for people with teeth, I feel that a conventional toothbrush would be much more effective than what we have here.
As far as sales go, the Toothette appears to be a hot item. At this pharmacy, they sell 2 for $1, and some folks even buy them by the box full. Carol Barish, News 4 El Paso, tonight.
And here's a recap of tonight's top stories. A stay of execution has been denied. The man convicted for kidnapping and killing a San Antonio nurse will die in a few hours.
El Paso police have caught a California man wanted for murder in that state. His brother is charged with harboring a fugitive. Thanks for watching. Have a nice mañana.
See you tomorrow.
The entire Channel 4 News staff selects their clothes at Union Fashion, continuing the big 96th anniversary sale on through Saturday, November 5th. Cheers is next on TV4, then stay tuned for CBS Late Night, Night Heat, plus A Different Affair with Ann Archer.